Well, welcome to today's broadcast, everyone. I'm Tom Bodorf, founder of Get College Funding in Dana Point, California. We have a special broadcast for you today. Rachel Cruz will be joining us. And let me apologize in advance for any noise you might hear. There's a lot of construction going on outside today. We're actually in the lovely Dana Point Harbor. We're right on the beach. And there's always stuff going on, including seals barking. So if you hear any extraneous noises, it is not your computer, it's us, okay? Well, here, I'm going to pull up a shot, first of all, of Rachel's website. There we go. And this is a site that you most definitely want to check out, rachelcruz.com. Rachel is a dynamic communicator, as you are about to see. She's a nationally recognized author and speaker, and she has a new book coming out in April called Smart Money, Smart Kids. You might recognize that guy standing next to her. That would be, of course, Dave Ramsey, and that's Rachel's dad. My wife and I were so blessed by meeting Rachel and Dave last year at a couple of terrific classes they conducted at their headquarters, their beautiful headquarters, I might add, just outside of Nashville. Rachel delivers a powerful message as she uses the knowledge and experiences from growing up as a Ramsey kid to educate high school and college students all across America on the proper ways to handle money and stay out of debt. You know, here at Get College Funding, we feel like kindred spirits to Rachel and her organization because our dominant theme has become debt-free college. Well, it's an honor to have Rachel join me today on this broadcast for an interview, and I'm going to bring her in here in just a moment. And there we go. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. We're so thrilled you're here, and we are going to get started. I've got a few questions for you today, Rachel. And let me go to this shot here. Okay. Well, first of all, Rachel, why do you feel that it's so important to avoid student loans?
Well, Tom, when students graduate from college and they have absolutely no debt, they do it debt-free, I believe the world is at their fingertips. I mean, they can go anywhere, do what they want to do, possibly even, there's no rush, really, I believe, to make all these final decisions about life and about jobs. And so there's a little bit of freedom that comes with being debt-free. But when you have debt and you graduate, the average college student is graduating with close to $30,000 in student loans.
Yep.
And they are under this pile of debt. So when they graduate and those bills start coming in within 6 months, panic starts happening. And they think, oh my gosh, I have to go get a job. I have to start paying these bills. I have to go find any job. It may not be what I want to do. It may not be in a city I want to be in, but I just have to get something. I have to do something to start paying these bills. And so what you just find, I believe, is in Proverbs, it says the borrower is slave to the lender. And I believe that. And I think student loans have become a huge, huge roadblock for this generation because they're not free to go do what they want to do. They're stuck in this bondage of debt.
I agree, Rachel. In fact, we see that here with our clients all the time as well. Actually, people who should be clients who come in after they've gotten into debt, and they want to know how in the world do we get out of debt? We listen to your dad's program all the time, and it seems like, at least maybe half of the phone calls now, at least half, are based on student loan debt and even parent debt as well, but debt for higher education. And it's just so crazy. And you're right, we're seeing numbers like $32,000 is the average, and it just keeps climbing every single year. And I agree, it just robs them of their freedom. So we're with you all the way. Okay, let's see. How about what steps can people, especially students, take to avoid loans?
Sure. Well, there's a lot of ways, a lot of options to go to school debt-free. I think some people think and believe the lie that you can't be a student without a student loan, but there are options. So if you are a student or you have a student, be thinking of things as simple as their ACT and SAT scores. Get a tutor for that. Raise those scores, because the higher those scores, the more scholarships and free money that are out there. So go hunt down those scholarships. And even if you don't have a great GPA or maybe not a great ACT or SAT score, find something that's unique to you and apply for those scholarships. I mean, it's amazing the amount of money that goes unused every year because people simply do not take the time to write an essay or fill out a form for a scholarship. So find that free money, and then also go to a school that you can afford. And some students, that's going to mean possibly staying in state, taking in-state tuition, or community college or something.
Right.
So there's a lot of options out there. And the great thing, Tom, is my job is I'm traveling all across America talking to these students. So I'll meet the devastating, stories of the massive amounts of student loans, but I am talking to students today in 2013, 14, and there are students still doing this. They are going to schools they can afford. They're working their way through. There's another thing. They can work.
What a concept.
Yes, I know, and getting those scholarships for free money.
Free money, you're right. There is so much of it out there. And that's one of my specialties, actually, is the need-based component. Families don't know about how this works with, government grants and university grants, which is the really big money from a lot of the private schools. But you're right, the scholarships too, based on merit. And we have students that have, sub 3.0 GPAs in some cases, still getting merit-based scholarships. Students and parents think that they got to have a 4.0 and have 10 AP classes, and there really is a lot of money, but families have to understand the profile and then understanding their limitations on what they can really write the check for.
That's right. I was talking to a girl last semester. She was at a school in Texas, and she said her mom made her, she had a single mom, her mom made her apply for 2 scholarships a day starting her Christmas break of her senior year of high school. So she did that all the way through the summer, and she had enough. She got rejected by tons of them, obviously.
Right, sure.
But she said, I had enough money to pay for 3 years of my school.
Wow.
And she worked those 3 years and saved up enough money to cash flow the last year. So that just goes to show, stick with it. And even if it's a small scholarship, some students tell me, well, Rachel, that's just a $200 scholarship.
Yep.
Yeah, but if you fill out that form, write that essay, it may take you 30 minutes. But if you get the scholarship, you just made $200 in 30 minutes.
That's right.
That's crazy. So
It's a good wage.
yeah, exactly. Best job, part-time job I know, for sure.
Yeah, and there's some great websites out there too that we always refer to our clients towards. Fastweb.com is still probably the biggest one, 1.5 million scholarships. They tend to range $200 to $500, but there's a few that are 4 digits, 4 figures, 1,000, 2,000. Of course, all the kids apply to the big ones, but still, every $200 scholarship, every $500 that helps for living expense. It helps for books. And as we know, the cost of college is just going up like this. So every little bit we can help or receive helps dramatically. I'm with you.
Absolutely.
Okay, how can parents help their kids during this whole process?
Well, I think one of the biggest things parents can do is be the encourager and help your kids through this process. It's amazing to me. I'm talking to these students. I was talking to a guy just earlier this year, and he was going to a private school and had $90,000 in student loans. He was getting married to a girl who had $90,000 in student loans at this college. I mean, $180,000 in the hole. And my first thought literally was like, where are your parents?
Yes.
Where were your parents when you were signing up for $90,000 in debt? So parents, your 18-year-old possibly is not the smartest person in the world at this point, because they are focused in. They may have that school they want to go to, and they're just zoomed in. So what you can do is broaden their horizons, hold their hand through this process. They're 18 years old. Do not let them sign up for this devastating amount of student loan debt. Talk them into it. You're the adult, and really walk them through and show them logically what makes sense when it comes to college education and the price of it. And so I think that's the biggest thing parents can do, is just step in and be the parent. They may push back. I'm sure a majority of teenagers do not want that, but what you're doing is you're loving them well. I mean, you're setting them up to win. And I promise, when they're 22 years old, graduating from college with no debt because they've stayed in state, they've gotten scholarships, they've done what you directed them to do, they are going to love you.
They'll thank them then.
Yeah.
Rachel, you can't imagine how many families we see personally. And when we get to this college selection part of our discussion, how many parents say it's up to them? Wherever they go, we're going to make it happen. Now, if they can write the check, that's okay. I have no problem with that.
Sure,
but when they say we're just going to somehow make it happen, I get a little worried. And they leave the entire college selection process up to the student. We used to do a seminar called The 10 Biggest Mistakes Made by Families Planning for College. And the first one was letting your 17 or 18-year-old make a $200,000 decision. But parents do it all the time. It's absolutely crazy. I do not understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, a lot of parents, their heart is so there, and they really, truly want the best for their kids.
Yep.
But a lot of parents have fallen for the lie. Well, if he's going to be a student, then, we're going to take out student loans, and this is the way it is, so might as well just go to whatever school you want to go to, because it's not going to really matter, because there's going to be loans anyways.
That's right.
Don't think that way. Be different and say, no, we're going to find a way to get you through college debt free. Now, junior, that means you're probably going to have to do some work to help with this.
That's right.
But this college selection choice, you're right. I think it is the number one mistake. And people believe, well, my diploma, it matters so much. And I'm like, it really doesn't. Like, where you went to school, a lot of employers, they don't care. Now, are there select careers where that is a big prestigious thing? Sure.
Yeah.
But majority, 90% of jobs out there, people don't care where you went to school. They want to know that you're responsible, you're a hard worker, you're willing to learn. So don't let that fool you into going into massive amounts of student debt just for a pedigree.
Absolutely. The school choice, my wife, Lorraine, has done so much research on this, and there's this perception that, the whole prestige thing of going to an Ivy League or out here at Stanford, or a Caltech.
Yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with those schools as far as education. So, well, maybe there is for some of them, but the name of the school, you're absolutely right, Rachel. It really doesn't matter. There's been so much research 20 years out for how much the earnings are for these students.
Yeah.
And best case, it's negligible. Most cases, it doesn't matter. Now, the name of the graduate school, maybe a little bit more, but the undergrad school, it really doesn't matter. A student that fits into the school, socially, spiritually, academically, they're going to thrive. And they're going to do well in life. And the name of the school is not going to buy these kids what they think it will. They always say, well, there's this great alumni association. And, okay, all right. But that's not what's going to help you succeed in life. It's your own drive, and you're going to thrive at the right school. So the college selection, you're right. The name, it's a real misconception out there that it's so critical.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Yeah. So if it is an in-state school, go to that in-state school. If some in-state schools are very expensive. I know out in California, those prices are crazy. But for majority of states, go. We were just in Boise, Idaho, and we were at Boise State University doing our event, and it was a little over $3,000 for a student to go to school for that semester. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why would you not go there? They have a great football team, and it's a great tuition price. So don't fall for that lie. Go to a school you can afford.
Absolutely. And you're right. The price of the state schools does vary. And Boise State, great school. Absolutely. You have some beauties back there in Tennessee. You have some wonderful schools back there, state schools.
All of us. My parents said the only way they would help us with college is if we stayed in state and graduated in 4 years. So all of us, that's exactly what we did. We all went to an in-state school. I'm a graduate from the University of Tennessee, and my brother will be this coming May. So, and my dad is, and my mom. So we all are in-state public university graduates and doing okay.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I'd say you're doing okay, Rachel. And your dad's not doing bad either. Just kind of bring him along, okay? Yeah, and 4 years, that is the goal. Parents don't realize here in California, the average time to graduate our public schools, UCs and Cal States, 5 to 6 years, sometimes longer. Real quick story. Lorene and I tour schools, colleges all the time. And I'll never forget this, Rachel. A few years ago, we were touring San Francisco State. That's a very popular school here in California, even for kids coming in from out of state. It's just a great location, a great city, And they told us that they were so overcrowded that they had to that year pass an actual rule that for students who were there, get this, 10 years, they had to leave. If they were there 10 years and did not yet have an undergraduate degree, and there were a bunch of them, said, you must leave. We have to make room for freshmen coming.
Oh, no.
10 years.
Yeah, that as a parent, you do not want your child to be in that position. Yeah. Oh, gosh, that is crazy.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Rachel, I want to honor your time and the time of our viewing audience as well. Hey, but first, I want to bring up a screenshot here of your new book. And
Yeah.
can you tell us just quickly what the new book is about? Tell us a little something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the book is Smart Money, Smart Kids, and it's written obviously from myself and my dad. And it's all about helping parents teach their kids about money. And so this is everything from when your child is 3 years old all the way up through when they're getting married. Every principle you need to know,
Wow.
from in giving, saving, spending, debt, college planning. We have a whole chapter just on college planning.
Oh, cool.
Budgeting, contentment. I mean, all these issues that revolve around money, we give parents the tools to teach their kids and really build a solid foundation for them. And that's really the goal. I mean, you want your child to succeed, and as an adult, you want them to, leave the nest and fly free. And a lot of people crash and burn those early years because they have massive amounts of student loan debt. They don't know how to budget. They don't know what they're doing. They're in credit card debt. And so you find a lot of these young adults are in crisis. So what I'm finding is if parents will start early teaching your kids about money, it's such a gift. And that's really my story, is one where I was raised in a house where mom and dad talked to us and taught us about money. And it's just a blessing. And so this book, Smart Money, Smart Kids, gives parents, again, the tools to go out and do that and to raise kids who can financially support themselves and be in a position to win.
Oh, fantastic. I can't wait for that book to come out. It's in April, I believe you told me?
Right, yes, April 22nd, but you can pre-order it today, right now, and you'll get a free audiobook and a free lesson, one of our legacy lessons as well. So, and the ebook too. So lots of free stuff if you pre-order today.
Oh, fantastic. I'm going to do that. And I hope everybody watching this broadcast does it as well. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for joining us. I so appreciate your time and great tips and wisdom from your personal experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom, so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And I look forward to our next trip to Nashville to see y'all.
That's right. We'll see y'all soon.
Take care, Rachel. God bless. Bye for now.
Bye.